I allow it to be created for me. Say those words with me. I allow it to be created for me. What a powerful reframe. What if you didn't have to work so hard? What if things were meant to be way easier than they have been? What if things began to come to you in a way more easily than you've ever previously imagined? These words, I allow it to be created for me, have been pure medicine for me. And I learned them from one of my closest teachers. Much of my life, for most of my life, I struggled with stress and anxiety and trying to do things. And I was very creative. I did a lot of cool things, but my life was a mess. And I was very successful by traditional standards. I had loads of money, a big company, and did a lot of cool things. But if you look closely, a lot of things weren't working in my life. There was a lot of effort to get things done. There was a lot of effort to create things. There's a lot of fear also in creating things. Like, what if I don't do it in time? What if they don't like it? What if it's not the right thing? How do I make it so that so and so happens, so then that we make this result happen? And very often I'd just be really tight and very anxious and very stressed and holding a lot of tension. I'd be running around trying to get to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I'd wake up with anxiety thinking, oh, I gotta go create that thing, and how do I do it, you know? And much of what I did, there was a lot of effort going into it, a lot of force, but the results didn't really come. And even if they did, they came at a huge cost of my health and my sanity and time with my family, time away from doing what I really loved, being in nature, playing. And so I lived this double life of inside feeling like I'm this really conscious, awake person that's in alignment with myself. But on the outside, there was this shell of a man who was deeply insecure, running around, stressed, and nothing was really working for him. And layer by layer by layer by layer, that came off until I heard this wisdom of like, I allow it to be created for me. And I began to sink into it. And what this really means is that if it's not coming through you, if it's not effortless, if it doesn't resonate as joy, okay, don't do it. Sounds so obvious, so hard to do in the beginning, right? Because your mind will hear like, oh, that's beautiful, but then how will I pay my bills? The fear, I can't just totally let go. Or, yeah, that sounds great, but what about blah, blah, blah? I've got to go do that thing. Or nothing comes up. You don't know what to do. There's only fear and anxiety. So like, oh, there's maybe this follow your joy and your highest excitement thing. It doesn't really work, right? But watch what happens when you fully let go and you sit in that sometimes unbearable sense of I don't know what to do. That unbearable sense of shit, we got to do something, or the sky's going to fall down. And get curious about that. Like, what is that feeling? Why is that feeling coming up? And why am I letting that rule my life? Interesting insight. Like, what is with this feeling like the doom and gloom, or like the world's about to end? It's kind of strangely familiar. Why is this coming up when I'm not doing anything? Why do I constantly feel like I have to rush off to something and do something and get something done? I allow it to be created for me. In order to actually allow it to be created for you, which, by the way, life always wants to do that for you. It's meant to be much easier than you think. To sink into that, you have to be willing to sit with the unbearable. And that's the second thing my teacher told me. It's like, in order for you to experience what life could be like in that way, you've got to be able and willing to sit in those unbearable feelings. And what will happen is if you just sit there with them and transmute them, eventually it will just start to come through you, and it will be totally effortless. And it will just be a flow where the next thing shows up and the next thing shows up, and it will just be done through you, for you. It means aligning with your highest vision and your highest truth, there's a bit of work to do to become able to actually receive those things. Because you can never really know the answers. You can only become a system physiologically that is capable of receiving them. And that means you've got to soften, you've got to relax, and those things that used to run you can't run you anymore. So the way this looks like, I'll give you an example. Like yesterday, I knew I wanted to make some videos for this channel, and because I'm traveling next week, and like, oh, I gotta get some videos, so when I'm traveling these things are published, and I really gotta get them. In the past 2 days I got caught into this a little bit. It's like, oh, I have to do it. And I tried making a video the other day, and it was just like not coming through me. I'm like, okay, Casper, I'm doing it again. I know that I know that I know. Eventually I just like put the camera down. I'm just gonna paint for the rest of the day. I just worked on my painting. I spent some time with friends. I just relaxed, cried a little bit, released some stuff. What was underneath this, like, oh, I gotta go. I was like, why is that there? Oh yeah, there I go. There I go again, thinking I'm worthless if I don't do this. Okay, let's meet that worthless one inside. All right, cool. Sure enough, I just let it all go. And then like 2 more ideas just came that were just exciting, like this one, and joyful and authentic, and it's just effortless. It's like, yes. So I just did that today, done my work for the week in terms of video, and now I get to go enjoy the rest of my day and talk to people who want to come to Sail the Stars and build that thing and pack and do other things. And it's just effortless. And when you're doing your joy, when you're focused on your passion, it doesn't take a lot of effort. It shouldn't feel like hard work. It shouldn't feel like striving. It shouldn't feel like, I gotta go do this thing or the world will end. And so if this resonates with you, say this again. I allow it to be created for me. And take a deep breath into your belly and just relax. And whatever it is that you're trying to create right now, pay attention to where it's coming from. Is it coming from this like, I gotta, or you know, there won't be no money, the bills won't be paid, or something like that? Or is it coming from that deep inner knowing of like, that would be amazing to do that. And I know this is hard because, let's face it, there are bills to pay, okay? There are consequences to your actions. Maybe you don't want to go to your job that you've been doing for a long time, but you're going to do it maybe today, right? This isn't night or day. It's a process. Just the willingness to see this is already a huge step forward. Just your awareness, like, oh, maybe there's something else possible. I don't have to be this ball of contraction and go energy and struggle. Just that alone is massive. You're opening a little door, a crack of light in your being, and that 2% shifts your reality in big ways, because quantum shifts in your energy body are actually massive shifts out in the 3-dimensional reality. So just taking that deep breath and being aware of this, it's already kind of dissolving. You might notice, okay, maybe there's a different way. There is. This is important. That willingness to focus on what's expansive, even if you don't know what it is going to bring you through this. Even just this question, what would it take for things to actually be easy? Try that. What would it take for this to be easy? Ask that. What would it take for this to be fun? What if things did start to come to me in a way way more easy than I ever imagined? Nothing is really ever in your control here. The only thing that you really have that you can truly control is your breath and relaxing your shoulders. That's about it. And maybe relaxing your butt. And that alone can change your life. Relax your shoulders, take a deep breath. What would it take for things to be easy? That's how you start to attune your portal to that energy, that ability to actually receive, and that ability for it to be created for you. You are not meant to be here on this planet to hustle, to grind, to work hard, to struggle. You are a creator with divine properties. You're connected to the source. You have an ability to move the world, to shift the world. You are here to deliver a transformative message, something powerful, just by virtue of you being yourself. And it's going to be different for you than anybody else. But in order for that to take place, you've got to come into alignment with yourself. Unless you do that, until you do that, you won't actually be happy. It won't be coming through you. Just knowing that and giving yourself the ability to focus on that truth is enough to start opening the door. Don't worry if it's not showing up right away. You don't need to quit your job today. You don't need to make massive shifts right away. But consider what it would take to just step back a little bit, to be like, okay, maybe it can be done for me. Maybe I don't have to try so hard. Maybe I can allow it to be created for me. And that little energetic opening and focusing on it is to be in that vulnerable willingness of it, even if like, okay, right now I feel contracted, it feels totally crappy, I'm in just deep despair, whether it's money or my relationship or my health. But what else is possible? What would it be like if it was just created for me? Even if that gives you a little bit of a lightness, focus in on that. What you focus on expands energetically, and that will bring in this energy. And little by little, a month from now, 2 months from now, maybe even days from now, you'll see shifts. Maybe even today, very, very quickly. It starts to just happen in your field. And what you experience in the future will be a direct result of this opening right now. You don't have to worry if your life doesn't look like that right now, if this is causing dissonance. It will eventually, but as you continue to sinking in and connecting to that energy, eventually the outside will 100% reflect that. Guaranteed, there's no other way around it. So I allow it to be created for me. See what happens when you take that on and wear that coat for a while. I allow it to be created for me. And when that rush comes into like, oh, we got to do it because if I don't do this, I'll die. Just question that a little bit. Relax with it. Maybe I don't have to do that thing. Maybe there's an easier way. Unless it feels like joy, unless it feels like freedom, like, man, I'd love to do this thing. It's not it. It's not really the energetic that you need to for the thing to actually move forward. It's not going to. Because, again, it's only your energy that can actually shift your life and other people and make a difference. And you cannot create abundance from lack. There's no way. Ain't gonna happen. So thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want assistance with this and letting it come through you, check out the video down below. It's called Your Energy is Everything. I posted the link down below. That's a deep dive into the essence of this work, and it will show you how to actually become a better receiver and what you can do to step into this kind of energy and how to actually make a shift in your life where you're sharing your deepest transmission and your truth in your life and affecting other people and making money from the right place. Thanks so much for watching, and if you want to see more, click subscribe. There's also a button down below, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.